Hi, I'm Kate Bogg, one of many lanterns, and my life is a fucking mess right now. Between political stuff, health stuff, and financial stuff, I'm just running a little extra ragged, and so is my partner, and I think it's time for a medium to large cleansing. So today, we're going to make a cleansing powder and a cleansing wash and smoke cleanse my house and really just do as much as we can all at once to make everything better. Let's get started. Now, if this were for a different video, I would have cleaned my kitchen before turning on my camera at all. But part of this is cleaning up. Physically cleaning and spiritually cleansing are linked, so pardon if you see anything. For the cleansing powder, I'm going to grind up rosemary and lavender. Rosemary is a good cleansing herb. It smells fresh. It's one of them evergreens. It's a gentle cleanser. Where lavender, which I'm stripping the leaves into the bowl now, is less directly good for cleansing. It's not bad for cleansing, but it's not what you go for by itself for cleansing. However, it has a nice, sweet, pleasant aftertaste and like a mellowing aftertaste spiritually. Because when you clean things, spiritually at least, you want to leave something behind. Nature abhors a vacuum, and something new will replace it. And part of the point of cleansing is to make the house feel better, make our lives feel better. So I stripped 3 sprigs of lavender leaves into here. We're gonna make some horrible noise, grinding this up as much as I can. Here's a close-up of everything that I've ground so far. The rosemary ground up into a real fine powder, as you can see, but there's all of these little leaves, and that's the lavender. The lavender was not very dry. The lavender was fresh when I picked it, literally 2 days ago, so it hasn't ground up as nicely. That's okay though. Next thing I'm adding is regular table salt. In part, I'm adding this to absorb all of the extra wetness on the lavender and to absorb the oils of both the lavender and the rosemary. The salt also acts as more grit to help the lavender break down. But let's be real. The salt is here because it's an excellent cleanser. As you can see, the lavender leaves have been ground up a lot better. The overall powder is finer. The final ingredient, baking soda. I would say this recipe is 1 part each rosemary and lavender, 2 parts salt, and like 8 parts baking soda. This is mostly baking soda. Why baking soda? It's a cleaning agent. You can use it as a very mild abrasive when you're scrubbing dishes, if you're trying to get deeply baked on grease off. It absorbs smells beautifully, it absorbs water beautifully. It neutralizes acids, since a lot of curses and even just miasma feel acidic or include acid, with vinegar in a witch's bottle, somebody having like a sour attitude towards you. The baking soda neutralizes that. In my experience, baking soda is a more gentle cleansing action than the salt. If this were pure salt, it might almost scour too much energetically, and I don't want that. I do want some of the power of salt, but I don't want it to be mostly salt. The other reason I want it to be mostly baking soda rather than mostly salt or mostly plant is because I'm going to sprinkle this powder all over my floors and carpets and upholstery and let that sit for 20 minutes and vacuum it up. That's a great cleaning technique for getting smells out of fabric. Here we are with the finished powder, a lovely kind of slightly greenish gray. Despite what the walls of my kitchen may tell you, I love a gray color. So let's sprinkle this everywhere. Now, unfortunately, I can't vacuum every surface in my house. So the cleansing powder isn't really suitable for everything, especially for windows. It's great for thresholds, it's great for sprinkling around the router where the internet comes in, but it's not great for windows or any sort of vertical surface. So a couple of days ago, I made an extremely weak rosemary tea and added some white vinegar. So we're going to put this in a spray bottle and spray that on all the surfaces that can't use the cleansing powder. But Kate, you say, you just said that a lot of curses use vinegar. That's true, but this isn't straight vinegar, and curses don't use straight vinegar. It's a really good ingredient as part of a curse, but it's not be all and end all. This container is about 50-50 the rosemary, mint tea, and vinegar. So 50-50 vinegar and water. And now I'm going to dilute that further in here with another probably 50% water to that. So it's only like a quarter vinegar. And by reducing the amount of vinegar, like diluting it, you make it milder and more suited to a gentle cleaning. That does indeed smell pleasant. Now that the cleansing powder is down, I'm going to let that sit while I clean up and tidy up the rest of the house. Spiritual and physical cleanliness are tied, especially when a lot of what I want to cleanse is just miasma and accumulated spiritual dust. Cleaning up the house makes that cleaner. Okay, so I did all the cleaning that you saw, and then a lot more that I thought I was filming, and I wasn't. But now that the cleansing powder has been sitting on the floor and on the couches for 20, 30 minutes, I don't know. Time is fake when you're cleaning. Time for me to vacuum it up, and then we'll largely be done. I forgot how hard cleaning is if you have everything is wrong with you disease. I was gonna try to make this a more thorough cleaning job. I was gonna try to, like you saw me vacuuming the couches pretty thoroughly. I was gonna try to maybe get the walls. I was gonna try to wipe down all the surfaces. I wiped down like 3. But I did do the magical thing I set out to do. Make and use my cleaning powder, make and use the cleansing vinegar mixture. And I did what I wanted. I really did do what I wanted to do physically, which was clean up the house a little bit and make it more pleasant to be in. As for this rosemary tea / vinegar mixture, you can also dilute this and use it as a hair rinse. as a clarifying rinse to like get rid of any leftover product from your various hair products. And therefore also as a more targeted cleansing for you to get rid of some of the gunk that's stuck to you specifically as opposed to just hanging around the house. To finish this out, I will do a little smoke cleanse. I have a cedar bundle. It's not white sage because native communities have asked us to not use it. Cedar is not as uniquely sacred and not as over-harvested as white sage. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.